we're back, guys. It is time to get back to work on this build. It's been a few weeks, haven't done anything to it, and I did get some new items in, so it's time to go ahead and get more progress done on this build. So what has came in is some lights. I got 4 of these, and that is going to go with these UVB UVA heat lamps. These little guys, they provide UVB UVA, and they also provide heat. I got 6 of these little lamps, 4 of these cables. 2 of them are going to go for the blue-tongued skink and this top enclosure. I'll have 1 of them in each of the snake enclosures, and the tortoise at the bottom has his own lights already. So I'm just going to transfer his. I also got two more housing units for the tortoise. The bottom, the tortoise lights, I'm using clamps for him. Since he is very short and he won't be reaching up tall, I don't care about having something bulky inside of his enclosure, because since it's at the bottom, you won't be able to actually see any of this hardware inside of his enclosure, so it won't be visible and he won't actually be able to reach it. So for the bottom one, I'll just be putting a panel on the inside, clamping the lights for him, and that'll give me more mobility and more customization that I can do with the tortoise. So he's gonna get clamps, but everyone else will be having these, and I will be drilling back here a hole so that I can fit those in like that. The snakes don't really need UVB or UVA, but I will be using it anyways. They might come out and bask, they might not. We don't really know exactly how much they benefit from it, so it's not going to do them any harm, and it will allow me to provide some extra heat in there as well. So 4 of these guys, I already got one of those things hooked up and tested, just to kind of see how much light is going to be provided in each of them. So the blue-tongued skink will have 2 of these, and that's going to be enough lighting for him. Additionally, as far as lighting goes, I got these little things off eBay. These are vanity lights, but they provide, or they put out somewhere, let's see here. I'm using these same vanity lights in my garage for some greenhousing, growing some plants inside of a little greenhouse unit there. They actually put out 6,500 Kelvin LED temperature, so they actually grow plants pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop off this little cover and stick these guys to the top here. And for the 2 snakes, that'll give me extra lighting, because I do want to be able to have some live plants inside of the 2 snake enclosures. The tortoise and the lizard would both just destroy them, so I'm not going to worry about planting live plants in their enclosure. But for the 2 snake enclosures, I will have live plants, so I'm going to have some of these UVBs, or just LED lights. These are just vanity LED lights. They cost 20 bucks, and they provide enough light to grow plants. And I already tested that out in the garage, so I was able to grow basil, watercress, a bunch of other stuff. So these will also be going in there. So I think that's about it for lights. I got the 4 of these, the LED, UVB lights, LED lights. I had to go out and get a socket for, so I can drill this hole, so I had to wait for this as well too. Additionally, so far, what else? Oh, this guy. Finally went out and got these railings, these aluminum railings. This is going to be for the sliding glass doors. I just got these today. These I just ran out to Ace Hardware. Went out to Ace Hardware and grabbed some of these. 8 foot long and for $13. So I got 4 of these. 4 8-foot long little railings for $13 a piece. So that cut in half. Let's see here. There we go. Perfect fit. 1 8-foot long railing cut straight in half gave me a perfect fit for the bottom. So each 8-foot long stretch would do for 1 enclosure. 4 enclosures, 4 railings, easy peasy. So far, not too much money invested yet. Again, these were $13 a piece. This was, I think, like 15 bucks for 4 of them on Amazon. These lights were 20 bucks. So what else do I have invested? The clamp lights were, I think, 6 bucks. This was pretty expensive. This was $13. But I'll be able to use this anyways and a lot of other things. And if you already have one, again, you're not going to need that. So far, not too much invested. So pretty good. What I'm going to do today, my goal for today in this video, is to kind of figure out how the sliding glass doors work, because I've never done those before and I'm using these little railings, and I want to be able to build this so that I can take those sliding glass doors out. A lot of the people online have tutorials where you put the sliding glass doors in here and then you fix it to the enclosure, but then those sliding glass doors do not come out. The other option is to have them where the sliding glass door fits into the railing but has a little gap on the top so that it can go up and you can tilt it and it'll come out. So you have to like push the door up, tilt it to the side, you know, angle it, and then it'll fit outwards. So with that, you have to make sure that the snake doesn't, you know, it doesn't have enough, you know, wiggle room that the snake might be climbing up and accidentally push it out. So I'm gonna have a border on the outside that goes over this so that that doesn't happen. And then I'm gonna probably have a border on the inside as well too. So that's not gonna be a problem. The problem is getting that exact measurement cut. You're gonna have to go buy glass that's big enough for this, make that cut, and hopefully that cut is to size, right? Because otherwise you have to go back and make another cut or whatnot, and I don't work with glass, so I'm gonna have the store cut it for me. So I'm gonna figure out how this works, figure out what the sizes are by cardboard. I'm just gonna fix this railing to the bottom, fix the railing to the top, and then start making cuts on the cardboard and fitting them in there till I get the exact size that I need height-wise for each of the doors. So that's goal number 1 for today. Goal number 2 is to actually drill my holes for these lights. Drill the holes for these lights and get these lights fixed into the back of the enclosures. And I'll probably put up these lights as well too and drill the holes for the cables for them. So lights and kind of just figuring this out right here. So that's the goal for today. I'm gonna go ahead, I've been talking for a long time already, and put this on time lapse, and we shall see how much I actually accomplish. Alright guys, so I changed my mind. I'm not going to do the cut for the door so that it can go up and slide out like that. Instead I am going to do a more permanent cut where you do have to take the railing off in order to get the door off. For two reasons. One, it's going to be a little bit easier to get that measurement and not have to be so exact on the lift and undercutting, because once you cut the glass too short, if you cut it too short, that entire glass is pretty much gone. So you have to kind of like overcut and keep cutting it down or get an exact measurement. And I'm not about exact measurements, I'll tell you that right now. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is the plan all along was that if I have that glass that I can slide up and then put in here like this, that I'm gonna have a safety guard against that glass coming out from two things. One, I'm gonna have this kind of L-shaped border in the back that I'm going to place on the ground and against this railing here. That L-shaped border in the back is going to allow me to fill up the dirt a little bit higher and the inside of this enclosure, because this railing right here is, you know, it's that thin. That's not much of a substrate. So I need a bottom border here that's taller than this to give me a substrate. And so that's gonna not allow this railing to go into the enclosure and push out, nor the glass. So if I lifted up this glass and tried to come out, it's not going to go into the enclosure because I'm going to have this border. Additionally, I can't bring the glass out like this and come outwards because there was also going to be a frame on the outside. So even if I had that cut on the glass where I could angle it, push up and push inward, I'm going to have to take out either the back frame or the front frame in order for it to be coming out. So what I decided to do was instead not permanently attach this bottom railing to the enclosure. Instead, just leave it sitting here. And what I can do is, when I'm ready to put the glass in, I can put the glass in here like this, seat it down into the bottom railing, tilt it, come into the top railing, and just sit that down right there like that. And that's it. When I would need to take it out, I'm going to either need to take out this, well, I'm going to have to take out this rear border, which I'm just going to have screwed into the bottom. So I can take out those screws, push this back, and then this whole railing can push back. And then I'll be able to take the glass out. So a little bit more work, or a little bit more permanent than I had envisioned, but it was still going to be that permanent anyways, because I was still going to have to take out either the front frame or the back border that holds the substrate regardless in order to take that glass out. So why bother with the over precise measurement? Gonna do with that, just push that to the side and just keep working on the rest. So figured this part out, so it's time to get working on the glass, on the lights. Lights is next. Boom. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to drill a hole for one of these sockets. Now, I'm not a professional, I haven't ever done this before, so I've never drilled angled holes before, especially using one of these bits this wide. So I'm going to be using my tortoise enclosure as testing ground. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be putting air holes inside of his enclosure all around, because he lives in an arid environment and I don't want this becoming too humid. So I don't really care about having and kind of a messed up angled hole on the back upper side of his enclosure for several reasons. One, he's going to have a lot of holes, a lot of air holes for him for aeration, and also it's going to be towards the top where you're not going to be able to see it anyways. So not a concern of mine to go ahead and test out this drill bit, doing an angled cut inside of the tortoise enclosure, because it's not going to really matter. So we'll see how this works out. Alright guys, I am a complete idiot. I told you I never done this before. So these need a little drill bit in the middle. The one I bought didn't come with one. There were several of these hanging. None of them came with their own drill bit. The other one I bought came with its own drill bit. So, and I hadn't used this in years. So I look like an idiot trying to drill with this thing, not knowing what the hell I was doing. So I went on YouTube and was like, what the hell, how the hell do you use this thing? And that's when I noticed immediately it comes with one of these. And I was like, oh crap, I know that because I already had one of those. So then I thought, well, did they sell me the wrong part, or was it missing the part? Because this one over here doesn't come off. I mean, well, it does, but I'll show you. You know, it came when they sold it to me like this, all set up. So I figured, okay, well, I'll just take the one off of this and throw it on here. And that's when I noticed that these drill bits, they have a little socket here so that you can loosen them and tighten them right in there. And this one has it right here. So I grabbed one of my extra drill bits, tossed it in there, tightened it, and there we go. So yeah, this one for $13 doesn't come with its own drill bit, which kind of sucks and kind of made me look like a complete idiot, but I'm not a carpenter. I don't know these things, but we're still gonna keep it moving. That went by so much faster. Let's see if this is gonna fit. A lot looser than I would have liked, but I think we can make it work. I don't know how I'm going to tighten it until I get it foamed in. Alright, so this is what happens when you don't plan for anything. Things just change all the time along the way. So I drilled this hole over here. And this happened. It's super loose. I get the angle that I want, but it's super loose, so I'm gonna have to foam this out, which I knew I was gonna foam it out anyways, but then I was thinking, if I ever need to change this light bulb, how am I supposed to hold this and change the light bulb? Because if I just try to unscrew the light bulb, eventually I'm going to break it loose from the foam, and it's gonna slide. It's gonna be a pain in the butt if I can't grip it. So I'm gonna have to stick it into the enclosure enough that I can put a grip on this this lighting unit so that I can unscrew the bulb. So on this other side, I drilled another hole, and I was testing, see if I can make a tighter squeeze, and that happened. I was moving the light around to try to get it out of the way for a moment. I ended up pinching it right there, right on the inside. And I was like, oh man, this cable pinches perfectly right on the corner of this little enclosure. And I started thinking, well, what if I just foam it on the back to hold it? And then I can just come inside, grab it from the inside, and then unscrew the bulb. So all I need is to just foam it in the corner. The reason I didn't think of that from the beginning was I didn't want the entire lighting unit inside the enclosure. I didn't want the big bulky lighting unit in the enclosure. So I thought, let me have the big bulky stuff on the outside. But that's gonna be in the back. And again, if I ever have to change the bulb, it's gonna be, you know, it might be easy the first few times, but as soon as that thing loosens, I'm gonna have to try to reseal it and tighten it, or find some way to tighten that unit, fix it to the board nice and tightly. But when I put it up much higher, because now instead of it sitting low, it sits much higher behind this little lip, the black lip here. So it's a lot more hidden than the hole is. You can see it's much higher. So if I can just foam it into place there, and then it'll give me grip on the inside of the enclosure to change the bulb. So these big old holes, I'm not even gonna use them. I'm gonna make stuff easy for me and just foam that up right there and be done with it. And so I tested that little theory over here again, and sure enough, it holds, and it doesn't look bad. You can see it's not really very intrusive, but if I had it down here, I was still gonna have to stick it out, and it would be even more center in the enclosure. But right there, that doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. Especially when the background gets put into place. I'm gonna have stuff on this side, stuff on the back. That one little light, that's not gonna matter at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep working. I'm gonna go ahead and find out if I can just put a stick there, foam it out, and just keep it rolling. Alright guys. Okay, from this point I just kept the camera on time lapse and started here with foaming the light fixtures into place and getting those set up. I then screwed in a corner molding, which is what's going to be used to hold the clamp lights for the tortoise enclosure. After that, I drilled the hose for the lighting units for the top enclosure. And then I went ahead and siliconed the top railing for the sliding glass door of the bottom enclosure. and I used regular clear silicone for this. After I had the lights set up, I went ahead and checked them out just to kind of see how bright the enclosures was going to be, and just to get a sense of what it was going to look like. Alright, after this I then moved out to the garage and cut the railings for the other enclosures. This was a lot of fun. And then after that I went ahead and cut the front panels and the side moldings, or the corner moldings for the enclosure as well too. After I got these panels all cut, I went ahead and spray painted them the same color as I did the side. I then finished off the day with a little bit of cleaning and vacuuming, and I also had to foam out the lighting units for the top enclosure still. So I went ahead and foamed those into place and finished off the day there. There is more recording already done, but I'm going to leave that for another video, so there'll be more video and more build to come in the next week or so. And that's going to conclude this video here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.